Hey guys, welcome to bonus episode of Maniacs. It's been a little while since it's been just me because we've been obviously doing the interviews, but have had a lot of information coming through and received a lot of information, and I felt like it garnered a bonus episode, but it is going to be over several different topics and situations that involve World Harvest Church and the Parsleys themselves, and even the some graduates of Valor that have had issues since graduating that are coming out now, and I believe that you'll find a correlation to what the guests have been saying and the things that we have been saying in season 1 in regards to World Harvest, Valor Christian College, and the people that have attended there and the Parsleys. So with everything that's coming out and the guests that are coming forward, I think that you will continue to see that there are issues that have been going on for decades, and that not only are there many people that are guilty of atrocities, guilty of crimes, but also there are a lot of people that are complicit that we may not necessarily know of yet, but I believe that that is going to continue to unravel as time goes on. And as always, I'm here to shed as much light on those situations and these people as I can. So I know and believe that the Parsleys are definitely complicit, and that they have covered things up, that they are involved in certain things, but that they are corrupt in every way possible. And today's episode is going to show that the corruption runs deep. It is in almost every area of the ministry, if not every area of the ministry, and that people need to open their eyes and open their ears and open their minds, because you are being manipulated, you are being abused, you are being brainwashed, you are being taken advantage of, and most of you are good-hearted people that the hearts are in the right place, but these people are master manipulators, and they know how to get what they need out of you. And once they have what they need, you're going to be discarded like trash, unfortunately. And I'm hoping that the podcast overall can eliminate some of that if possible. So to start things off, this is going to be something that we're going to show up on the screen here in a moment, but it's in regards to finances, and in particular, Ashton Parsley's ministry credit card being used for personal expenses. And again, we're going to post this on the screen, but you're going to see several charges that are highlighted, and I didn't highlight these are highlighted from the accounting department to say these are personal expenses, you need to pay for these expenses, and you cannot continue to use the ministry credit card for these things. Now, I don't know if these things have been corrected, but I know at least for a period of time that there wasn't really anyone in the accounting department that was holding the Parsleys specifically accountable for either paying back charges that they have made on their personal credit cards, or that it was even being asked that they do so, because again, the fear tactics, people are afraid to approach the Parsleys, especially if they know that it could not, that could end up not well. And so I want to show some of these charges that I was able to get a hold of from Ashton's credit card reconciliation. And this is going to be from 2019. So the first thing that you're going to see is charges from the Four Seasons, a very, very nice hotel. There are several charges from the Four Seasons, and looks like, they're totaling over almost $1,400. I think it adds up to $1,364.33. You'll see a charge of $1,119.33, another charge for $115, and another charge for $130. And these are all highlighted because this was not a ministry trip. This was a personal trip with one of Ashton's friends who did happen to work at World Harvest at one point in time, but I'm not completely sure that she was on the payroll at this point in time. But Ashton was, and Ashton is living it up on your dime, on the money that you are giving for your tithes and offerings. It is being used to fund their lifestyle, just like we've been saying. Then you see charges from Bed Bath & Beyond, $262.20, $290.19. Then Value City Furniture, $1,064.22, and $2,751.93. This was furniture, personal items for her home. This had nothing to do with ministry. These were not things that she could take up on the platform so that it could be counted as ministry, which is the MO of the Parsleys, is that the rule of thumb is that if they are able to wear these things on the platform, use these things on the platform, then they can charge them as a ministry expense. And of course, how can you do that with furniture? Then the next charges you're going to see are Louis Vuitton, $2,144.63, and then another charge of $2,246.75. And again, very expensive purses or items from Louis Vuitton that, again, I believe they would try to take on the platform so that they could count it towards a ministry expense. But this is just a loophole. We know that the people and the congregants at World Harvest are the ones that are funding these lifestyles. And frankly, it's not being sewn back into the ministry or the people that go there, because there are many people that need help. There are people that have faithfully tithed and given offering there for decades, and when they need help, they are turned away. And that's so unfortunate in my opinion, because again, these are faithful people that are trying to do the right thing. And then when they are on, falling on hard times, or their car is getting repossessed, or they can't pay their mortgage, or they don't have food, they are told that there's nothing there to help them. And that is simply not true. You can see right here, if the Parsleys want it, they're going to get it. But when you need something, then all of a sudden the funds and the bank accounts have dried up. You're going to see another charge for COPC. Well, now this is a doctor's visit, and I believe, and again, this is I wouldn't say speculation, but obviously there's no way for me to prove the medical expense because of, HIPAA and those sorts of things. But my contact is saying this was for Botox. So I guess, the ministry needs to pay for that so that Ashton does not have wrinkles when she is on the platform blessing you with her preaching and teaching. Then Theater Direct. This is a theater subscription for her home, $478.84. And then, miscellaneous charges for Ulta and some other places for makeup and things. And I bring this up again because, like I said, the Parsleys are corrupt, and they are corrupt in every way. And if myself and the guests have not, displayed this very well, I want to make sure that you are actually getting that your hard-earned money, the money that you are being manipulated and forced into giving, is going towards a very lavish lifestyle of the Parsleys, and frankly, you are funding it. And so I want to kind of segue from there to some text messages, and these text messages have been they were sent to several people by Ashton. Now, the first one we're going to show is in regards to a chicken salad situation that one of the staff members did not necessarily get right, apparently, because Ashton is very particular in how she takes her chicken salad and probably several other things. So we'll put a clip of this up on the screen. But she's asking this person if she knows how to make her chicken salad, if somebody ever showed her how to make the chicken salad. And the person is saying, no, ma'am, I bought some chicken salad from Blocks, but how do I do it? And so she's explaining to her that she has to go get a rotisserie chicken, that she has to take the skin off, that she has to shred it, and then she has to mix it with some mayonnaise, and that she should have told her this earlier. And the staff member is saying, okay, no problem, I can get this done for you as soon as possible. Well, the person that took these screenshots, they explained to me that they did not do that because they were wanting to use it as ammunition, but that they were very much drinking the Kool-Aid at this point in time. They wanted to please the Parsleys, like you've heard from several other people, and that the screenshot was taken so that in the future that it would not get messed up, and that she could provide the chicken salad the appropriate way to Ashton, and hopefully not get in any trouble for it. And then there are two other text messages that I believe some of you have seen, because I did post it on my story, and I didn't give a lot of context because I knew that I was going to be doing this bonus episode, and I wanted to explain more during this episode. So the two text messages, and we'll show them back to back, but these were sent to Carol. So Carol was episode 5, and there were two parts to it. She was the mystery guest, but when Ashton and her and their other friend that was in their friend group were going through this big falling out, this was when Ashton sent these text messages directly to Carol, basically saying that she's admitting that ministry is a chess game and she plays it, period. That's what Ashton says. And so that's going to be the first text that we show you. And again, this was in regards to the falling out that Ashton was having with Carol, and she's basically, trying to admit that there was possibly some wrongdoing on the part of her and her family, but that this is their attitude towards ministry, or at least hers, that it's a chess game and she's going to play it. So when I initially interviewed Carol, we did discuss this, but Carol could not find these text messages at that point in time, and so that was eliminated from the initial interview that you saw with her. But she was able to find those and sent those to me. And again, I've been receiving so much information that I felt like it garnered a bonus episode to continue to display the corruptness of the Parsleys. So then the next message you're going to see, again, when I posted this on my story, I apologized for Ashton's language. I'm going to do that as well here. And this second message, she says, listen, overall, y'all are right. I disagree with some of the things, but yes, my family is effed up, but she types it out, obviously, like everyone else's. Our ministry has been messy. And this is directly from Ashton. And if that's not telling for you, I don't know what is. They're viewing ministry as a joke or a game, if you will, and that she has learned to play it as good as anybody has. And, her teachers and her mentors and the people that she looks up to are obviously her father, and I would say also her grandmother, who many people have said that, she's just a chip off the old block as far as Ellen and Rod are concerned. And I think that this is one of the best examples of how the Parsleys view ministry, and that this is not about caring for people. This is not about winning souls for the kingdom. This is not about salvation. This is not about making sure that the sheep are taken care of. This is about conning people, being corrupt. This is how can we continue this ministry and get as much money as possible? How can we continue to create more ministries, if you will, under the World Harvest umbrella? This includes CHN. This includes recruiting young people for the college that they can manipulate and abuse and use up and then send out to start their own ministries. And unfortunately, I'm going to show you here in a couple of minutes that many of these people are going out and starting these ministries, and they're perpetuating this behavior all over the country. And we need to be worried. We need to open our eyes. We need to open our ears. And people that are attending these CHN churches, they also need to take a look at this and find out if they are a part of the problem or if they're going to be a part of the solution, because what is happening at World Harvest and at Valor specifically is abuse. It's wrong. It's corrupt. There are people being mistreated. There are crimes happening. And again, these people are going out and starting their ministries or a part of CHN churches, and they are perpetuating the behavior. And so even when the Parsleys do not have their hand specifically involved, they are involved because these people have been trained up, if you will, under their ministry. And so I want to make sure that this information is getting out. It could be viewed several different ways by people, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we are called to expose, we are called to protect, and I am not going to stop until accountability and justice and even prosecution happens, because children are being exploited, manipulated, and abused. Young people, the same thing, exploited, manipulated, and abused. And unfortunately, adults, congregants, volunteers, staff members, all of the above. And the people that are standing by and not doing anything, even though they know this is happening, they are complicit. They are as wrong as the people that are committing the crimes. And something must be done about it so that this does not continue to happen, because it is devastating. And then the final couple of things that I want to make sure that I touch on are several Valor graduates, one of them being a CHN pastor that has recently been arrested, and another situation with someone else being arrested. And this has all just come to my attention. So I was going to do this bonus episode anyways. However, I wanted to loop this stuff in because, again, it just shows what this place produces, what the fruit is of this place. And I have actually one other situation that I want to discuss before we talk about several people that have attended, graduated Valor, and or a part of CHN and have been arrested for issues involving underage people, underage children. So the one last thing that I want to discuss before we go into that is something, again, that I found out about that I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked because, again, it's not only corrupt, but it's very deceitful, and it just shows this is how the Parsleys operate. So there are several former Valor students that were made to walk for graduation to appear that they had actually graduated. And these people are typically working very closely to the Parsleys. They're in the executive wing, they're personal assistants, they're in the inner circle, if you will, but they are the people that are taking care of everything for the Parsleys. They're running errands, they're making sure their food's correct, they're making sure that the Parsleys have everything that they could possibly need and in the way that the Parsleys want it. So it does need to appear, because these people are working so closely with the Parsleys and the ministry, that they actually had graduated. So I found this out very recently as well, that there are several former Valor students that are made to walk during graduation to appear like they graduated, but did not, because they were made to work instead of going to class. Many of these non-graduates are serving, pastoring, and are a part of CHN churches, and you should know that, because I was shocked that there isn't anything that the college can do to ensure that these students are going to class and not, for lack of a better term, serving and slaving away for the Parsleys. And they came there to go to college and get a degree that they can use in ministry, and instead they spent the time there. They were used and abused, and again, very close to the Parsley clan. And they still have nothing to show for it, but they had to be a part of this scheme of walking during graduation to make everyone believe that they had graduated because they worked so closely with the Parsleys. But they couldn't graduate because they could never go to class, because serving and slaving away for the Parsleys was more important than them going to class and getting an education. And that's the reason that they ended up going there in the first place. And I would be interested to know if they had to pay back any money to Valor for not even getting a degree. But maybe you guys that are one of these people or have been a part of the scheme or know people that are a part of this scheme, you can message me or comment and let me know if there were bills and fees that had to be paid for pretending like they graduated when in fact they did not. And you guys, I know this is a lot of different information in an episode, but again, I think that it's imperative that we show that there is lies and fabrications and deceitfulness and corruptness in every area, every branch of this ministry. And if this doesn't show that, I really don't know what will. So the last couple of things that I want to touch on, and we're going to show, some pictures, show some videos as well. But the first one that I want to discuss is Zach Petri. So Zach Petri graduated from Valor, and we're going to show even a video just here in a moment of him being brought up on stage by Rod himself, and he is just boasting about how Zach is one of the best things to come out of Valor. He's so anointed. He is such a great person and has, this CHN church. But you also see right after that.
Are you listening to this? This is Pastor Zach Petri. Come up here and let me hug your neck. One of our great City Harvest Network pastors. Pastor, I believe that you and your wife are one of the greatest examples of how God will strategically position you, geographically locate you. Your DNA is where that church is, that you have brought into a flaming revival. You're one of the most talented individuals I've ever known. He is a graduate of Valor Christian College, where world changes are made.
Pastor admitted to asking a 16-year-old girl connected to his congregation for sexy pics. He received a 1-year prison sentence, and he was convicted this year in 2024. 25-year-old Zachary Luke Petri was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, but ordered one of those years to be served behind bars. And the article goes on to talk about how he not only groomed this girl, but that he had given a cell phone that was preloaded with very explicit pictures to another girl, and that he was asking for sexual explicit images, that he was trying to force himself on these young girls, trying to kiss them. And then after the accusations and the allegations were reported, that he then was trying to contact the caregiver for this young girl to drop the charges, make them believe she was lying. Why would she do this to me? And again, it's the narcissistic abuse, it's the gaslighting, it's trying to make people believe that what they know to be true is not true. So then they're questioning, am I wrong? Did I make this up? Am I wrong for going after this person that is clearly trying to exploit me and abuse me? And guys, this is what happens at World Harvest Church and at Valor Christian College. If you have not seen the other episodes, these young people and these kids are being groomed, they are being used, they're being abused, people are taking advantage of them, they are being exploited, and then they're being sent out to start their own churches. That you guys you're being a part of these congregations. This is what this place is turning out, okay? And again, I know I've said it in several episodes. Some of the best people that I've ever met, that I've ever worked with, I'm friends with to this day, okay? These are good people. But what I'm telling you is that there's also a lot of bad people at Valor and World Harvest Church and Harvest Preparatory School. And these are typically people that are in leadership positions. And they are absolutely using their positions to take advantage of people, and then they are going out and perpetuating this behavior. And this is a perfect example. And we will have a link. So if you want to go and read the entire article about Zach, you can. But, you know, his cousin has a very successful church in the Cincinnati area, Eric Petri, and I believe it's City Gate Church. And I don't know a lot about the ministry, but I do know that he touts, Rod Parsley as being one of his mentors. And I don't know how much good you can get out of the Parsleys. And again, I'm not going to go into, talking negatively about another ministry, especially when I don't really know a lot about their ministry, but I know it seems to be somewhat successful, and they have a pretty good sized congregation. And I would just say to you, if you guys are on the up and up, I would encourage you to distance yourself from World Harvest Church and the Parsleys as quickly as possible, because the fruit, if you will, of this place is nothing. It's thistles, it's thorn bushes, and it's not producing any fruit. Okay? So lastly, we're going to show, and this one is even more heartbreaking for me personally, because I know this person. He was a student and worker, volunteer at Valor and World Harvest Church when I was there. And recently I found out some more information that is just, it's heartbreaking. That's really all I can say. It's just heartbreaking. And I don't know the mental stability of this person, but he was very recently, his name is Anthony. And we're going to show some information here, but it's being shared all over social media at this point in time because, a lot of people knew this guy. And he's 27 years old. He's living in West Virginia. He has been arrested for trying to get a 16-year-old girl and her boyfriend to perform sex acts, and he had poisoned or seemingly tried to poison them. They ended up going to the hospital. They did have lots of different things in their system, and Mr. Watson has admitted to poisoning them and what his expectations were going to be. And he also admitted to police that he accesses social media pages that post child pornography. I mean, what is going on? This is evil. And again, this is what this place is producing. This is not a one-off. This is not something that is just happening. There are several other people that have been attached or are attached to that ministry that have also been in trouble for similar things. And our children are at risk here. Your children are at risk here. It's unfortunate that these people are not only attached here, but that some of this stuff probably could have been stopped had people paid attention when they were actually at the college, or had they not been mistreated and abused while they were there to go out and then continue to perpetuate the behavior. But with Anthony in particular, he had an issue while he was at Valor as far as trying to poison other people, okay? And it was known by several people that you were not to eat his food because he did make food for some of the people there. He, offered it to several. There was only one person to my knowledge that actually ate it, and he was sick for a week. And instead of something being done about it, they made it a joke. Don't eat his food. If he cooks, don't eat it. If if he offers you something, don't eat it. It wasn't really looked into any further than that. And instead of actually dealing with it, it was joked about. And that's unfortunate because I did see a side of Anthony that was very kind and very positive and very friendly, and someone that was seemingly on fire for God. And I don't know if he had these issues before he got to Valor, but I believe that this is proof positive that World Harvest Church and Valor, the people that are in leadership in certain positions, are knowingly covering things up. They know that these people have issues, and instead of dealing with it appropriately, they sweep it under the rug. They don't do anything about it, and now we have kids being hurt, and likely there's more than this because we just don't know about it. And like I said before, when things involve children, I am hyper vigilant about protecting them at really any cost at this point. And I want to, kind of conclude the episode because there is so much here, but I want to conclude with, again, showing and discussing scriptures that talk about exposing false teachers and protecting children, okay? And I don't know, where do we get lost in all of this? But people are still defending the Parsleys and this organization, and the place needs to be shut down. It needs to be closed. People need to be held accountable. There needs to be justice, and there needs to be prosecution and criminal charges also for a lot of these people. And so I want to just, go through some of these verses, and I've used some of these already in other episodes. Matthew 7:15, watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. Okay, this is definitely Rod Parsley and Ashton Parsley. if you have not figured that out already. They are ferocious wolves. They do not care about you. They do not care about your children. They do not care about your salvation or your soul. They care about manipulating and exploiting you and your children and getting as much money out of you and labor out of you as possible. And then they will discard you like trash, like they have everybody else that has not continued to stay under their thumb and be manipulated. 2 Peter, let me get the verse here. 2 Peter 2:1. But there were also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the sovereign Lord who bought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves and others, as we can see here. And believe me, like I said, there's more, and there's going to be more people coming forward. And again, I cannot wait for these people to be prosecuted and criminal charges for hurting these children. 1 John 4:1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. 2 Corinthians 11:13. For such people are false apostles, deceitful workers, masquerading as apostles of Christ. And again, we need to expose. We are called to expose. And I am imploring you to join me, if you have not already, in bringing justice, if not to anyone, to these kids that have been hurt and abused and taken advantage of and exploited, and the ones that have not, this has not happened to, but very well could be, because these people are not being held accountable yet. 2 John 1:7. I say this because many deceivers who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh have gone out into this world. Any such person is the deceiver and the Antichrist. And, I'm going to go on now to some scriptures about protecting children. But something has got to be done. I am one person, and I have guests, and I know that these people are also continuing to fight the good fight. But we need a spotlight shed on this place and on these people again, if not for anything, but to protect these kids. So let's see what the scriptures say about protecting children. Luke 17:2. It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he cast into the sea than that he should offend one of these little ones. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Psalms 102:28. The children of thy servants shall continue, and their seed shall be established before thee. Psalms 112:1-3. Praise the Lord. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, and that delighteth greatly in his commandments. Sorry, let me go back here. Matthew 18:6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Matthew 25:40. And the king shall answer and saith unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done unto me. And I know the millstone one I said twice, but it is, it's mentioned several times. And so I again, want to implore you, join the fight, join in helping protect these children, if not anything else. But accountability has to be served. Justice has to be served. And it's up to us to do it. And yes, is it a heavy burden to carry? Absolutely. But we are called to do this. And I will not stop until justice and accountability is served. And that is point blank, period. And I encourage you to keep reaching out to me, keep sharing your stories with me. And those of you that have been courageous enough to do so already, I commend you. Even if you're not coming on the podcast, the fact that you're able to share these stories and experiences and say them out loud. But it's not just enough that we're discussing it on this podcast or discussing it on the phone or FaceTime or in private. Something has got to be done, because children are continuing to be hurt. People are continuing to be hurt. They're being abused. They're being exploited. The behavior is being perpetuated, and they're learning it there, you guys. So please join the good fight against World Harvest Church and the Parsleys and all of those that continue to support them and back them up for their wrongdoings. I believe they are in, survival mode at this time. They're in damage control mode at this time. They are going to use whatever tactics possible to make you feel sorry for them, to make you feel like people are coming against them and it's demonic and that people have these demonic spirits. And that's just simply not the case. If anyone is demonic and has these issues that they are claiming other people have, it is most certainly them. And I am, again, not going to stop until justice is served. So thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, messaging me. Please continue to share and contact me with any of your stories. And please keep me in prayer. Keep all of these precious children and young people and even these adults. Please keep them all in prayer, because, again, we don't know how far these tentacles of this evil, negative place stretch. And I believe that more and more is going to continue to come out against these people in this place. And it's going to be revealed, and there is a lot more collateral damage, unfortunately, than we even know about. So please have a good evening. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next week for our next guest. Have a good evening.